So today I'm talking about GOGO Inc., ticker symbol GOGO. They're listed, sorry about the earthquake. They're listed on the NASDAQ exchange. And from what I can tell, they're a company that makes hardware and software for connectivity of internet, basically, on airplanes. So far, they're describing business airplanes. I'm not sure if that includes commercial flight airliners. But if not now, probably the future. I think actually they do. They do partner with commercial airliners. And they're available on many planes so far, and they're expanding fast from what I can tell. So that's what the company does. I'm going to quickly look at the numbers and charts. I've already looked at them once or twice, but I'll do that in front of you. And then I want to talk about basically my perspective, which is lots of questions. And hopefully what I would be looking for might help you research and add perspective to what you might be looking for in the company. So I'll go through a list of things that I have basically that I would need to find out in order to determine whether this company belongs in anybody's portfolio, including mine. All right, so here's the overview. This is today's action. The price sits at almost $21. And this is the max chart. Looks like they dipped down on March 2020 with everybody else with the fall of airline travel. But it's been on a tear in 2021 and 2022. 15x the price or so, maybe 20x the price that it was in the low of March. So very big appreciation. Now, this is the graph that I always like to look at here on the right. The revenue is in blue and the profit is in green. It looks like there was a major event in 2018. Something happened. Maybe they signed some contract or something, and it turned the company profitable in 2021. So revenue dropped quite a bit, and then the profit increased. So I'm not sure how exactly that's reflected into their financial reporting, but that's what it's showing here. If let's take a look at the financials real quick. From when I was going through it, it didn't really tell me much except that there was some kind of big event in 2018 and then the switch to profitability in 2021. But that was the revenue. Then operating income is the other important one. You can see in 2018 they flipped the switch. And then shares outstanding. It looks like 2021 they sold a lot of shares. Let's go to quarterly. Actually, you can get a better picture on the quarterly side of things. So it looks like there was a one-time event here. You can see how in 2021 they were selling lots of shares, probably to prop up the rollout of a new product. And then if we go to the statistics, we'll see that it's a 2.35 billion market cap company and enterprise value at 3.08. That means they have under a billion there in debt, which is confirmed by the balance sheet here. Negative 727.76 million, which is not really a problem, especially if they have earnings now that they can service that debt with. They don't have to issue shares necessarily if they don't want to. So the numbers actually doesn't tell me much. Profit margin of 51, which is enormous at the moment. But I can imagine that is the case because it looks like I don't know if they're the only ones doing this right now, but they seem to be grabbing customers easily. So they might have a monopoly on the service at the moment. But I don't know how long that's going to last. And in fact, I'm very surprised that this company hasn't been bought out yet. I mean, I would think they would be bought out by somebody like Boeing or something, or some kind of internet service provider. So I don't know why they haven't. Maybe the company doesn't want to be bought, or perhaps companies are too cash strapped for the last couple years, which is understandable, especially aviation related companies, right? So that could be one of the reasons. But anyways, it works out in their advantage, I guess, if they're able to slap higher and higher valuations on their company. I mean, they were probably just a few million, right? Now they're 2.35 billion. And by a few million, I mean probably like a few hundred or, or at least 100 million. So I have some questions, right? I have some questions maybe to add perspective. I will admit this is not my area of expertise, but some things that I would want to know is number one, besides why they haven't been bought out yet, that could be trouble, right? I mean, if there's not enough proprietary, processes in the company for building that hardware or software or both, then it might not be very desirable. Or perhaps the talent that is included in this company is not either up for sale or not good enough, deemed not good enough by a bigger company. Or perhaps is what I said earlier, which is that companies are too strapped for cash right now. They don't want to issue new shares to try to make, acquisitions that may not work out in the long run. Although this company seems like it's working out fine just now. But yeah, I'm wondering about the competition. Is competition gonna spark? I mean, is it gonna come? How much is the addressable market? Like, how much can they grow? And would the business be the market be lucrative enough for other companies to try to step in and do what they're doing and compete with this company? I went to their website, and one of the concerns I have is this model here, which is a very predictable. You can basically just buy a pass, and you can buy a 1 hour pass or all day pass for $19. So $7 for an hour, $19 for a day. Or you can have a subscription plan like $50 a month, $70 a month, and $600 a year. So I guess it's Global Delta plan is the more expensive plan. We can select an airline, Alaska Delta Airlines at the moment. I mean, I don't like the subscription plan. I think it should be kind of included with the price of the ticket, but I get why they do it. They haven't cut that deal with the airlines in order to make that happen. So for now, it's like that. It might change in the future, but obviously the airlines actually have an incentive to make flights cheaper. And so they like to add everything extra, including like your bags, check-in, and more seats, more space on your seats for extra or whatever. Like, so they tend to want to be able to show up at the lowest price on the search engine, so people book their flights, and then they just basically upsell everything else, including 5G internet capabilities. So it's understandable, but I don't really like it. It's not a good look in my book. I think they need to make deals with the airlines in order to include it in the packages somehow. The airlines need to buy their service, and they need to be paying monthly fees that are lower, but make internet available to all of their customers. So instead of customers having to pay $20 a day, the airline would pay like 50 cents per customer or something like that, which might net more revenue even for GOGO. And provide for 50 cents per customer 5G connectivity to all their customers, and it would be a nice perk that they can then advertise to the customers. And I think that makes much more sense. I think this like makeshift model is dated. I don't know how to say. It's not. I don't think it's a good solution, personally. But who am I to say? Apparently they have partnered with United, Alaska, and Air Canada, and I guess obviously Delta so far, at least in some planes. So that's that's another concern. There's the way they're operating the business right now and what the future looks like. I already talked about the proprietary technology And I would really need to dig in and try to find out like what exactly do they own, what kind of tech do they own that nobody else does, and that would determine, to a large degree how investable the company is, and whether or not it's gonna get its lunch eaten, because it needs to create some kind of size in order to create moat around its company, and it's far away from that size now. It probably needs to like 50x from here, in order to get that size. And the last thing I wanted to address is basically like how big the market is. I don't know. I would have to research that, right? I would have to research how big the market is, like, and how many potential airplanes can this be installed to, etc. And I wanted to also comment a fear of mine, or at least not a fear, but something to watch, which is that I think that this company is going to be very heavily dependent on the quality of deals they make. That's really going to determine. Right now, the margins are pretty high, so perhaps they're making pretty good deals, but they're not high enough really for just providing internet service, right? I mean, once you install the hardware, it should be almost free. But I guess they're paying to all the network providers. They're paying Hughes, I think, and some other companies that have networks of satellites installed around the world, and there are quite a few of them, different entities that GoGo has to deal with and maintain relationships with. So perhaps they need to even hire more people to maintain those relationships, and make sure that the network stays intact. As they grow, I think that's going to become increasingly difficult. So they'll need to more manpower, etc., to make sure that they maintain those relationships. Because if they start breaking up, the value of the network effect of this company is going to start diminishing, and it's going to be grim for the company. So they definitely need to stay on top of it. So those are some of the concerns and points of interest that I would have, and I would research before I put this company to my personal account. So maybe that helps you. Maybe that gives you something to think about and look into. Let me know if you own this stock, and if you know what happened in 2018 and what turned them profitable in 2021. All right, I'm gonna end this video here. Good luck with the company if you own it. I currently do not, but it definitely sounds interesting, and if I were to buy it, I would just need to do a lot more research. If there's another company that you want me to look at and give my opinion on, just type the ticker below in the comments and I'll get to it eventually. But I'm having a lot of fun doing these and looking at these companies that I wouldn't look at normally. So yeah, let me know if there's something you want me to look at. All right, peace out.